What's up, everyone? It's the Interview Queen Alicia Toot here, and be sure to watch True Heel Heat.
Hey guys, it's Rosa and welcome to True Heel Heat.
What's up, True Heel Heat? True Heel Heat. What's up? True Heel Heat all hands on me.
Welcome to True Heel Heat, the place where we use insider terms because we think we know what the fuck we're talking about, even though we don't. My name's Maxwell Jacob Friedman, and I'm better than you, and you know it.
Hello, everyone. It's the hardcore legend Mick Foley wishing a nice day to everyone there, right there at True Heel Heat. Yeah.
Hello, hello, hello. It is me, your True Heel Phenom SP3. We are live on the True Heel Heat YouTube, Facebook, and the Good Brother Romeo's Twitter for Collision Discourse number 39, reviewing the August 10th, 2024 edition of AEW Collision as only we can. And to do that, once again, what is this? 3 weeks in a row? I'm riding solo for this party, solo for another Collision Discourse. So I appreciate y'all if you're watching us on demand. I appreciate y'all if you're watching us live here on the True Heel Heat YouTube channel for another edition of Collision Discourse, our home every Monday where we review AEW Collision. Saturday nights is all right for fighting, and it's all right on a Monday to review that show. So I appreciate y'all. If you're joining us, show that appreciation back the simplest way possible. You just drop the thumbs up on this video. You can share this video with all your wrestling fans, friends, and family on all your favorite social media platforms. If you're new to the True Heel Heat YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell to stay notified for all the great content here. We're closing in on 17,000 subscribers here on the True Heel Heat YouTube channel. As you can see, my skin is glistening because it is a heat wave here in the UK. I even got no sleeves today because I am hot. It is hot in this room. It is hot out there. It was hot yesterday. I was in York Hall for Rev Pro, so I'll touch on that as well as we get through this show here. But appreciate y'all if you're joining us today. Share the video with all your wrestling fans, friends, and family. Watching us on Facebook, drop a heart, a like, an angry emoji, a laughing emoji. However, AEW Collision made you feel. If you're watching us on Twitter, you could just drop the heart, retweet the video. That helps the YouTube, the algorithms over on the Twitter and X machine, and helps out Romeo's account. But most of all, if you're with us live, sound off in the live chat. We love to interact from this Saturday, and we're going to talk all about it as we usually do here on a Monday afternoon. So appreciate y'all for coming with us today on this journey. And of course, if you want to show your appreciation to what I do here, riding solo on this Monday afternoon, you could send a super chat donation. Any dollar amount matters. It goes back to me because my good brother, Super Guy JJ, is running from the grind 3 weeks in a row. It's ridiculous. Ridiculous what I have to deal with. All jokes aside, I don't know. I can't even say, oh, he was busy or had a doctor's appointment or anything like that, because he never even answered me about today. But I digress. But yeah, appreciate y'all if you're with us today. We got already in the chat with us Eric Isaac, who says, hey, THH fam, La Mera comes out on top of the bull rope. I might turn off this light because it's going to help. No, I'm too dark skin for that. We got he says, La Mera comes out on top of the bull rope. We got Christian Screws, the House of Black, and Bang Bang Gang, and get ready for main event Stokely with the 0 Hour Queen, Statlander. Indeed, we're going to touch on all of those things right here. We got Alex Powell, who says, I just got done watching Omega versus Okada 3, and it still holds up. And to think that people thought Black and Gold was the best around that time is hilarious. New Japan was on top. Late 2010s, New Japan was it. New Japan was it for a very, very long time. Even 2019, when AEW came around, I still was like, New Japan is still my favorite promotion, because you had Kota Ibushi in the G1 with Jay White. You had the rise of Jay White. Still had Katsuhiko Okada balling. Will Ospreay coming up to the main event level. Shingo Takagi tearing it up on the juniors and the heavyweight level. So yeah, to end of 2010, it was New Japan. NXT was only good for number 2. We got my good brother, I Make Beats, one of our members of the channel, one of our Patreon backers, and one of the best that we've got in the community. One of the newest member. I think I remember you first on our Slammiversary review. Was the first time I saw you in the chat, and you've been coming through and showing love ever since. Appreciate you, good brother. He says, SP, I know we ain't doing G1 yet, but today's show had a couple of bangers. Just got done watching some. And I would say, I've been telling everybody I Make Beats. You saw it on the flagship podcast. I've been giving my recommendations. My recommendation from today is watch Zack Sabre Jr. versus Sonata. Zack Sabre Jr. and Sonata had one of the best technical wrestling matches of the entire G1 Climax tournament. Very much enjoyed. Great Okan. My holy emperor, Great Okan, the United Empire's emperor, showing out in the main event to make it to the playoffs. 5 straight. People were sleeping on Great Okan. I've been on this channel since about 2022 when Great Okan was still a meme wrestler. And I was like, yo, show some respect to Great Okan. I remember the match that changed my opinion on Great Okan. Go back to G1 Climax 32 when he faced Zack Sabre Jr. and the dudes never even left the ring. It was one of the best technical wrestling matches at that time. That's where I changed my opinion on the Great Okan. We also got I Make Beats with a super chat donation. Thank you so much, I Make Beats. Appreciate your support as always, and I love that you're putting that VPN to use, good brother. We got Alex Powell, who says Naito versus Omega is the best G1 finals. To me, you are 100% correct. To other people, some people think Ibushi and Tanahashi is the best. Some people think who was it? I mean, I love Okada and Ospreay from 2022. Okada and Ospreay might have been my second favorite behind Naito and Omega. Ibushi and Jay White was a fantastic G1. Like I think we've had since like 2017, we have seen the best G1 finals of all time. Since 2017 with Naito Omega, then 2018 was Tanahashi and Ibushi. 2019 was Ibushi and Jay White. I wasn't that into Ibushi and Sonata. I think that was the final in 2020 or 2021. But we came back with Okada and Ospreay in 2022. Last year with Naito and Okada was amazing. So yeah, we've seen the best of the best in the last couple of years. IMAB says Callum Newman versus Gabe Kidd. He said, bro, that match slapped. I enjoyed that one. I thought it was a solid effort for Callum Newman, and Gabe Kidd has been one of the best, especially in the A block for sure. We got Alex Powell who says ZSJ versus Sonata have great chemistry. Yeah, it was the matches with Zach that really got Sonata his name and prominence that led to him becoming the IWGP World Heavyweight Champion last year. Alex Powell also agreeing with me, saying Ibushi versus White is awesome as hell as well. But I love Omega versus Naito because it's probably the best heel versus heel match. Yeah, I agree with you. Like I said, I think Omega and Naito doesn't get enough credit as the very best D1 final of all time. Like Omega, I've said this on In the Weeds on Friday. Omega changed professional wrestling in the end of the 2010s. He showed a level of storytelling within matches that we have never seen before, whether it was his series of matches with Okada, the 4 matches that is still the greatest series of matches of any 2 people ever. Then he had he had all 5-star matches with Tetsuya Naito from 2016, 2017, and 2018. Then you had the whole arc with him and the Golden Lovers and the reunion of the Golden Lovers with Kota Ibushi. You had the Bullet Club Civil War with him and Cody Rhodes. And then the whole journey for him to become IWGP World Heavyweight Champion. And then finally, he loses the IWGP Heavyweight Championship in one of the greatest Wrestle Kingdom main events of all time against Hiroshi Tanahashi in 2019. So, yeah, Kenny Omega is one of the best ever. He's probably my second favorite wrestler of all time behind Bryan Danielson. But that is enough. I give you a tidbit of the G1. I'm trying to decide for sure, guys. There will be no Collision Discourse probably next Monday. I'll see if Sober Guy is available on Sunday, so we could do it on Sunday instead of Monday, because next Monday, guys, we're bringing it. It's the G1 Climax 34 finals on Sunday. So Monday here on the channel, probably 1:05 p.m. Eastern time. We'll try to make it earlier, or maybe it'll be 2:05. 1:05, 2:05. We are doing our G1 final review. We're going to be talking about the tournament, giving our MVPs for the whole entire tournament, LVP for the whole entire tournament. What was our favorite match of the tournament, the best match of the tournament, and of course, we'll be breaking down what goes down in the finals. We're down to the top 3 in the A block. Today, we got Zack Sabre Jr. confirmed himself as getting a bye. He was the number 1 seed in the A block with 14 points. And then you had Shingo Takagi with 10 points. He won a tiebreaker with Evil, as Evil lost to Shota Umino today. Shout out to the shooter agenda. We didn't achieve the ultimate goal, but we got a nice consolation prize with Shota Umino denying Evil of the playoffs. That's what I like to see, shooter. And then he got second place. And then the third place went to Great Okan with his win over IWGP World Heavyweight Champion Tetsuya Naito. Great Okan. Respect Great Okan. Put some respect on Great Okan's name. So we got Okan versus Shingo on Thursday. And then Wednesday morning, we're going to decide who are the top 3 of the B block. And I'll talk a little bit about that with Jimmy, even though Jimmy's not familiar with everything, but I'll talk a little bit at the beginning of AE Ramble about who comes out of the B block. And maybe Friday, we don't have anything on tap here on the channel. I probably am going to go with, maybe I'll do a solo thing like this where I'll preview the Final Four. The Final Four, because I think it's Thursday morning is the A block, is the A block and B block. A block and B block is that's Thursday morning. That's when we're gonna decide who's in the Final Four. So maybe I'll do a G1 Final Four preview on Friday. You guys let me know in the live chat. Send a super chat, send me some love. Put your comments in there, or comment down below if you're watching on demand. If you want me to do maybe something like 30 minutes of a preview of the Final Four for the G1. Maybe I can do that on Friday. We got also in the chat here, Alex Powell, who says G1 27 was awesome because I remember Naito had an awesome match with Ibushi that year, and then he had a great Brock final with Tanahashi, and then the final with Omega. I mean, Omega had a fantastic end of that of 2017 G1 27 with he had the block final with the 6-star matchup with Okada, and then followed it up with the best final of all time with Naito. So yeah, he was tearing it. He was tearing it up. Tearing it up. Yes, we need Kenny Omega's back. AEW needs Kenny Omega back so bad. Frantic World, I'm not going to front. I'm with you. Because I got jumped. You know, I wanted to go for Zack Sabre Jr. I'll be honest with you. Since y'all watching the loyal people of the True Hill Heat community, I wanted to go with Zack Sabre Jr. during our G1 preview. But everybody was going with Zack Sabre Jr. And that would have been boring if we all would have said Zack Sabre Jr. winning the G1 climax. Am I right? So I wanted to be different. I went with Shota Umino. I believed in Shota Umino, but he failed me. He let me down. And of course, I could easily jump on the Zack bandwagon. Y'all know me. I love Zack Sabre Jr. I think he's the best technical wrestler in the world today. But that's too easy. And it seems too a foregone conclusion at this point. I'm going with Konosuke Takeshita for the win. MCats, good question here. He says, okay, SP3, here's some homework. Top series of matches ever. Where does Flair Steamboat rate? Flair Steamboat has to be number 2 for me. I would go. I've already done. I don't have to do any homework, MCAS. I already kind of have this in my head. I go Omega Okada, Flair Steamboat, Bryan and Nigel. That's my top 3. If you need a top 5, a top 10, maybe we could do a list about that. So send a super chat, send a comment, leave a comment in the live chat. Maybe we'll do best series of matches between 2 guys ever. We got I Make Beats. He says he's down for that for the preview of the Final 4. Power Drive Finisher said, gotta go with Evil. He lost. He's out, sir. Let it go. All you trolls who want to root for Evil to ruin New Japan. Stop it, 5. Y'all the worst. Alex Powell says Takeshita versus ZSJ is a final I want. I need that. After what Takeshita has done this G1, I need him to make it to the finals. I Make Beats says ZSJ isn't a wrestler, he's an artist. He's an artist in the violent nature of technical wrestling, indeed. But that is enough about the G1. Keep your comments going. Keep super chats going. Appreciate the love and support, guys. But of course, we got to talk about AEW Collision from this past Saturday, August 10th, 2024. It was from the Esports Stadium in Arlington, Texas. Tony Schiavone and Nigel McGuinness on the call. And we kicked off right with the action. Tag team action had Darby Allin teaming up with Hologram. A random ass tag team here, but a tag team that worked really well together as they faced the premier athletes of Josh Woods and Tony Nese with smart Mark Sterling and Ari Daivari in their corner. Sterling walked out complaining about his broken arm and the fans in the esports arena. Hologram started with Woods dragging him into his corner and getting the quick tag to Nese. Hologram got Nese to his corner where he and Darby Allin started doing some nice little double teams. I was like, these guys worked really well together. Finished off with Darby hitting a nice little code red for a near fall. Another run of tandem offense led to Darby hitting a springboard splash for a near fall as well. Sterling hooked Allen's leg, leading to Woods getting the advantage on Darby with a huge throw. Woods sent Allin to the floor and distracted the referee, allowing the other athletes and Sterling to lay the boots to him. The athletes beat on Darby as we saw a countdown clock for Swerve Strickland's appearance on the show. I like that they're bringing the countdown clock back to at least to AEW Collision, bring it to Dynamite as well. Darby rolled through a pair of back suplexes and eventually got the tag to Hologram. Hologram started running wild. He hits a nice little tilt-to-whirl DDT, turning a Nese crossbody into a power slam. We got Woods cut Hologram off with an anti-air knee on a springboard, leading to an assisted Olympic slam for a near fall. Darby broke up the pin. Then he hit a coffin drop to the floor on the interfering Sterling and Daivari on the outside. Hologram turned an attempted chaos theory into a crucifix pin for the 1-2-3 to pick up the victory here. Hologram is now 4-0 on Collision, while Darby Allin gets a measure of momentum heading into All In, where he will challenge for the TNT Championship against Jack Perry. Good matchup to kick things off. Very exciting duo between Hologram and Darby Allin, despite the kind of random nature that they were here together. And you're going to get that from sometimes for a Collision, especially during this esports arena era, which always the crowd's going to be into Hologram, always the crowd's going to be into Darby. So this was a fun way to kick off the show. We got a video recap hyping up the Texas Bullrope matchup between Thunder Rosa and Deonna Purrazzo, narrated by the Bullrope Match veteran Dustin Rhodes. He did a great job kind of describing how the Bullrope has all this history, and these two women will write the next chapter. And man, so I said this before. I said this the last couple of weeks. Deonna Purrazzo and Thunder Rosa, they work well with each other, but I felt like this rivalry had peaked in the no DQ matchup. The no DQ matchup was my favorite matchup of the 4 matches that we had seen. And then the lumberjack match, it didn't really hit as well as that no DQ match. So it felt like you extended the feud one match more. And then the finish to the lumberjack match told me that we were going to get another match between these two. So I was like, you're extending this feud to a 5th matchup when Purrazzo's won 3 in a row. What's the use of all this? I mean, what's the use? They went out and had their best match yet. This match was awesomely violent. You get Thunder Rosa coming out with the Texas flag. The match thankfully ends with pinfall or submission instead of the 4-corner rule, which no one really likes. Rosa came out with the Texas flag, like I said, and wore the state-colored gear. Rosa came out with a house of fire, sending Purrazzo to the floor into the steps. She hit a backstabber, but Purrazzo cut her off on the ropes. The two got into a tug-of-war around the ring post, which Purrazzo won, and then blasted Thunder Rosa in the head with the cowbell. This busted open Thunder Rosa. She was cut open. Purrazzo followed up with another cowbell shot to the head. As we went to commercial break, we saw Thunder Rosa was busted at the top of her head. And boy, oh boy, did she get a gusher. This took Thunder Rosa back. She felt like she was in the lights out match against Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, because this elevated the violence in Thunder Rosa that we know she's capable of. She starts yanking Purrazzo off the top rope when we come back from commercial break into a pile of chairs for a near fall. She then stuck the chair in the corner and threw Purrazzo head first into it. She then placed the chair in front of Purrazzo's face and then hit a deadly looking drop kick, a violent looking drop kick right to Deonna Purrazzo's face. This cut open Purrazzo, who was busted open from the steel chair shots. She cut Rosa off as she went to the top rope. She repeatedly sent a steel chair into Thunder Rosa's ribs before hitting a shoulder tackle. Purrazzo then hit a great combination where she did a power bomb into the Queen's Gambit God-style power driver for a near fall here. Purrazzo then set up a table that Thunder Rosa had brought out, and she put it near the ropes. She sat Thunder Rosa on a table and hit her with the bill rope. She then went to the top to the second rope, but Rosa cut her off. She then hits a huge looking bulldog off the second rope through the table. You can see freaking Deonna Purrazzo's body is just broken and shattered around the table because the table broke very weirdly where her ribs was on the side of the table. She then followed up, picking her up and breaking out her old finisher, not the Tijuana bomb, but she hits the Fire Thunder Driver. 1, 2, 3. Thunder Rosa picks up the victory here in what I thought was the best match between these two ladies. This was the show stealer of the night. This is the best match in their series. It was very appropriately violent. It felt like a bloody war that finally felt like the blow off that we've been looking for from these two ladies. This is only the second ever 5-match series that we've had in the women's division. You know, we've had before this Hikaru Shida and Serena Deeb, and now Thunder Rosa and Deonna Purrazzo. Where if you ended here, if this is the end of it, I think both women got over, because you had Deonna Purrazzo win 3 straight against a former AEW Women's World Champion, while Thunder Rosa won the most violent and brutal matchup of the series in this Texas Bullrope matchup. And between the two Bullrope matches that we've gotten in AEW history, this is the top. This is the best Bullrope match that we've seen in AEW, and one of the better Bullrope matches that we've seen in the last couple of years. This was appropriately violent. This was what we needed to kind of put the capper on what's been a very solid feud, because both women come out of it looking strong. So credit to Thunder Rosa and Deonna Purrazzo for proving me wrong. They proved me wrong. I was like, I don't need to see another matchup between them. I needed to see this. I did need to see this. So bravo, ladies. Bravo. We got a couple of comments in the chat here. We got MCats who says Nigel's such a hater, and I love it. Nigel, the best commentator in the game today. Don't forget it. Don't forget it, ladies and gentlemen. Frantic World says Darby and Hologram is a random team, but they are good together. That is true. That is true. We got MCats who says if you listen to Shivani's podcast, he loves Taz and loves annoying the shit out of him. Well, that's fair. I don't love them together as a commentary team with Excalibur, but if he loves it, I at least like it. We got Power Trap Finisher says Bullrope match was tight. Obviously, it's like, what are we doing with Deonna and Rosa just wrestling each other continuously? Yeah, I don't need them to wrestle after this. I mean, we got MCAS is like, one more match at All Out, please. Cage match. Nah, I don't need it. I don't need it. They need to end while they're at a high. They were at a high with the no DQ match, and then they upped the violence. They upped the intensity in this matchup. So you could end it right here, and I'll be perfectly fine. Eric Isaac kind of echoing that, saying hopefully this feud is over for now. You can revisit it if either woman is the AEW Women's World Champion because of their history together. We got Frantic World. He says, I love this women's Texas Bullrope match. Thunder Rosa and Deonna Purrazzo are very good indeed. Indeed, they are. Alex Powell says, I bet Willow versus Statlander is going to have blood because I bet their match might have a stipulation. I think Willow and Stat, yeah, it will probably happen at All Out. That's what I think because of the match that would be made later for All In. I think they're going to save the title matchup for the CMLL Women's World title for All. But we also got MCats in the chat. MCats who says Thunder in her vlog says that she watched Bullrope matches from Dustin and Dusty for ideas. Well, she brought it. She brought it. I was thoroughly entertained. As they say, I was sports entertained by this, for sure. We get a vignette from the Outrunners. The Outrunners are ready for action. I love the 80s style vignettes that we get from the Outrunners and them just complete with VHS video quality and cheesy 80s music. The Outrunners are so much fun. You know, I see them a lot on Ring of Honor. They got a victory, one of their first victories on Ring of Honor television recently on last Thursday's show. And it was great to see them here as they were in action, going up against former two-time AEW World Tag Team Champions FTR, Cash Wheeler, and Dax Harwood. The announcers noted that FTR is second in all-time tag team wins in AEW history, behind, of course, former AEW World Tag Team Champions, The Acclaim. The Outrunners worked over Wheeler to start before FTR got the advantage and mocked the Outrunners' poses. It was very, very cool where you had Cash Wheeler with the flex, which he looked absolutely jacked here. And then you also had later you had both FTR after they took out the Outrunners to the outside. Outrunners looking like chumps outside after they took them out. And then FTR did the double pose before we went to commercial break. After the break, Wheeler fought out of the Outrunners corner. He eventually gets the hot tag to Hardwood, who ran wild with 5 German suplexes on Truth Magnum. FTR then finished things off as they usually do. They picked up the victory here with the Shatter Machine on Truth Magnum for the 1-2-3. As FTR was celebrating, we then got the news, and it was announced that the Acclaim will finally get their AEW World Tag Team title shot this coming Wednesday on Dynamite against the Young Bucks. Better late than never, I guess. I mean, this should have happened like before Blood and Guts. I was calling for it before Blood and Guts. They won that Eliminator matchup in June. And fuck what you heard. I don't believe all this shit about the Young Bucks have limited dates. That's why they haven't been defending the titles. That's why they weren't there and whatnot. Man, pump all that noise. Y'all the EVPs. Y'all the champions. Y'all need to be around more to defend these titles. I'm sweating. Dada's sweating in here. You want to say hi to the people?
Huh?
You want to say hi? So send super chats. All right. Yeah, I might have to keep this door open. I feel the air from the door being open. You gonna show them some of your toys?
One.
This is the content y'all all want, right? The run-ins. All right. I love you. Always enjoy the run-ins, right? Yeah, I'm gonna keep this door open because it's hot as hell in this room. But yes, we're finally getting the Acclaim and the Young Bucks. About damn time. I suspect we're gonna have a non-finish of some kind because we're gonna do a 3-way at all. That's what looks like we're building to. If it's felt like we're building to for the last month, we're building to a 3-way matchup ever since FTR came back. Seems like that was the direction that they were going in. I wanted the Machine Guns versus the Young Bucks like 3 months ago before the rumor started that the Machine Guns are going to WWE. But here we are. Young Bucks, FTR, and the Acclaim. Seems like the direction we're going towards for All In London. What do y'all think about that? Let me know in the live chat. Let me know in the comments. Keep going with the rest of the show here. You got Backstage, Kip Sabian with a backstage interview with Lexi Nair, who is asked about his recent issues with Nick Wayne as he helped Nick Wayne get beat down by the House of Black last week. Wayne entered the frame and bragged about being the youngest champion in AEW history. Wayne challenged Sabian to a matchup next week on Rampage, promising to make Sabian a loser, just like his dead father. Well, Nick Wayne learned from his father, and he learned to insult other fathers, especially if they're dead. So, like, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree when it comes to Nick Wayne. We do have a super chat donation. Thank you so much, Genesis J. Great to see you in the chat once again. Says excellent Collision. Gotta go. No worries. Thank you, Genesis J, for showing some love here. We got I Big Beats. Yes. It is too hot in the UK. Cooking down here in the South. Oh my God, the heat. I was like I said at the top of the show. I was in York Hall. York Hall needs to develop some air conditioning because Summer Sizzle was the name of the event. I did not expect the sizzle to be on the fans. A lot of us fans were sweating bullets. My nice little Tupac shirt that I was rocking was absolutely drenched from the back because I'm a sweater, folks. It gets a little hot and I start sweating. So, MCAT, I agree. That's ridiculous. First title defense since winning in April. That's not on the Young Bucks. That's on Tony Khan in his booking. That's ridiculous. We got Frantic World who says, I need Tony to set up the Acclaim breakup ASAP. If they fail at All In, I think that's the next direction. They either have to turn heel or you have to break them up. Either. MCAT says, with all the supposed exodus of talent from AEW, won't they just get lost in the shuffle in WWE? Their roster is huge too. I agree. But you won't hear any of that, MCAS, because that goes against all the grifters out there. The grifters out there just want to be like, oh, bad, AEW, bad, 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 because that's what's making them money, and it makes sense for them. I mean, if it makes money, more power to you. But yes, we got a promo from MJF mocking Will Ospreay for allowing Kyle Fletcher to get bloodied on Dynamite. MJF noted that he would be wrestling another one of Ospreay's friends in Michael Oku in Revolution Pro Wrestling in London on August 11th. I was there live for that. Excellent matchup, excellent main event between those two, with MJF retaining the AEW American Championship. He did say that he would hit Oku with the Tiger Driver and break his neck. He didn't quite break his neck, but he did hit him with the Tiger Driver 91. And this led to Will Ospreay. We also heard from him here in this video where him and Fletcher were talking about MJF about to hit him with the Tiger Driver. And Fletcher says that if anyone deserved to get hit with that move, it's MJF. While Ospreay says that he hit it on a guy that he looks up to in Bryan Danielson, and he couldn't get up afterwards, so he does not want to hit it. But after MJF used the Tiger Driver on Michael Oku on Sunday at Rev Pro, as well as almost did it on Amira, Michael Oku's girlfriend and manager, Will Ospreay says he will do whatever it takes to get the win at All In. Check out the video. It's at True Hill Heat on the Twitter machine. I posted it after the show. Excellent show from Rev Pro. Shout out to the people at Rev Pro. But get some aircon in your car, please. Please. Pretty please with sugar on top. Roosh was next in action as he went one-on-one with his former LFI teammate, Preston Vance. The violence that is Roosh did not let up, although these two men used to be friends. This came after Don Callis challenged Roosh to prove he was willing to do whatever it took to succeed and represent the Don Callis family. Roosh and Vance raised their fists as former stablemates before Roosh hammered Vance with a forearm. He sent Vance into the barricade and bit him. Vance came up bloody after getting bitten and thrown into the barricade a few times. He came back with a big spear, a Brody Lee-ass discus lariat for a near fall. Preston even went for the bull's horns, but this just pissed off Roosh. Roosh tossed Vance with the belly-to-belly into the ropes, and then he drilled him with the bull's horns for the quick victory here. In the back, Don Callis looked very pleased, but that didn't stop Roosh. He went and hit Vance with another bull's horn after the bell before getting pulled away by the referee's corpse as he went to look for a weapon underneath the ring. I just need some direction for Roosh. I think Roosh is too good to be directionless. And although I understand the association with the Don Callis family, don't really think it was needed for Roosh. But you guys let me know what you think. We got the same Jack Perry video package that we got on Dynamite, this time without Taco Bell interrupting us for us watching on Warner Brothers Discovery. He said that those who shape the future have the burden of burying the past before destroying TVs with former TNT champions on them. And he saved his all-in opponent, Darby Allin, for last. But one last TV showed him in his scapegoat match. At least he got to see it. At least he got to see it this time. Understandable. Them playing again. We got here in the chat, Alex Powell says Roosh and Mortos tag team is the new agenda. Hey, if it gets Mortos on my TV more, I'm here for it. MCAS says Oku versus MJF was great. Indeed, it was. We got Alex Powell who says WWE US title scene is literally ice cold as it features Santos, Mello, Andrade, and LA Knight, and possibly AJ Styles. All great wrestlers, though. Hey, that match with Andrade and Santos was really damn good on Friday, so I'll give them credit for that. And Frantic World says, did 10 owe Roosh some money? That's how bad he beat his ass up. Beat that ass up like he stole something. Next, we got AEW World Champion Swerve Strickland. He is out for an open challenge eliminator matchup. He takes the mic and hypes up his all-in matchup against Bryan Danielson and said that he wanted a warm-up. He says he's got Wheeler Yuta on Dynamite, but he needed something for here tonight because he wasn't going to let their run in Arlington, Texas go without the AEW World Champion. He then had Prince Nana handle his light work, and he said that whoever came out needed to know that they are going up against the most dangerous man in AEW, which led to one of the most dangerous men in New Japan Pro Wrestling interrupting and answering Swerve's challenge. It was Tomohiro Ishii, and boy, oh boy, did this one deliver for me. These two guys had some really good chemistry with one another. A match that wouldn't have been out of place at all in the G1 Climax tournament. We got another run-in, I think? No, she's just slamming the door. Swerve and Ishii went back and forth in the opening moments of the matchup before Strickland caught Ishii with a body shot and outside in a drop kick as well. Ishii caught Swerve with a forearm, but Swerve nipped up and hammered Ishii with one of his own. Strickland caught Ishii with a drop kick to the knee, but forearms to Ishii only fired him up more as he got Swerve into the corner. Swerve blocked one of Ishii's big comeback shots before hitting an uppercut to the back that sent Ishii to the floor. In honor of Olympic Series, we get our good brother Swerve with a Fosbury flop to the outside on Ishii, showing off his athleticism. After the commercial break, we get Ishii fought out of his way out of a headlock with a Saito suplex. Ishii brought Swerve to the top rope and hit a great-looking stalling superplex for a near fall. Ishii caught Swerve with a flapjack before Swerve came back with a rolling complete shot for a near fall. The two started trading forearms and headbutts before Swerve hit a big power slam for a near fall. Ishii ducked a house call and hit a German suplex. Then he fired up and hit a big old lariat. Ishii followed up with a running lariat, turning Swerve inside out. He called for the vertical drop brainbuster, but Swerve slipped out, dropped Ishii with a standing stomp, and then followed up with the house call for the 1-2-3. This match was very, very good. Swerve working really well with Ishii. A great television matchup here. Ishii, this is Swerve making his opponent look good. Ishii delivering a good matchup here. And the mood changed when Ishii entered this room. And it's a credit to both Swerve because the mood also changed with Swerve. And this felt like a more important Collision episode because of Swerve's presence on the show. So it tells you that he's one of the top stars in this promotion and the champion of this promotion. And Swerve looked good on his way to All In, working with Ishii in a great television match here. But before he gets to All In and the title versus career matchup, he's got Wheeler Yuta this Wednesday on Dynamite. Now, we here at True Hill Heat, got a little bit more class than most of the people on social media. I don't understand the people on social media complaining about this matchup. It was an open challenge, and we got a very damn good matchup with Ishii and Swerve. I mean, if you feel differently, let me know in the comments, but I appreciate Swerve being a Ric Flair X World Champion. Ric Flair was a guy that would make any opponent that he went out against, whether it be a Saturday on TBS, whether it be a pay-per-view, whether it be a major show in one of the territories, he always made his opponent look great. He always made his opponent look like a world beater. It doesn't matter if his opponent was Greg the Hammer Valentine, Dusty Rhodes, or random local talent 47. Ric Flair would make all of them look good. And that's what Swerve has been able to do as the AEW World Champion, whether it be against Claudio Castagnoli, whether it be against Kyle Fletcher, Will Ospreay, Christian Cage. He's made them all look good, and he made Ishii look good here, and they had a damn good television matchup, in my opinion. We got I Make Beats. He says, I heard people didn't like this match. I enjoyed, just thought it could have main evented or opened the show. Swerve is the champ. He's on a good run, though, so not all bad. Whose house? Swerve's house. We also got here I Make Beats, who says, love having Ishii on loan on AEW. They could have given him a mini title run, a mid-card title run. That is true. I agree with you. Ishii is just to help the title history, the title lineage of some things. You could have just Ishii's name be a part of it. We got Power Driver Finisher. He says, I don't mind the Don Callis stuff with Roosh and him having different things going on. Is he necessary? No, but it makes sense for a snake like Callis to pit teammates against each other. That is true. That is true. Frantic World says Swerve versus Ishii was really good. For a minute, I thought it was going to be Bobby Lashley. I would love to know what type of drugs you're doing, Frantic World, because I saw other people think this nonsense, and I'm like, Bobby Lashley is not debuting on AEW Collision. What were y'all thinking? That don't make any sense. What? MCAT says RVD didn't like this match, as was the internet discourse who don't follow New Japan. Yeah. Great caveat there at the end. Great caveat there, MCAT. They don't watch New Japan Pro Wrestling at all. Alex Bile says Swerve needs to beat up Yuta, which leads to a promo on Collision from Danielson. I can see that. I can see that as well. We also got here MCAT who says, preach, SP3, preach. I try my best. We got I Make Beats. He says, Ric Flair, Swerve, Gunther, Prestige. Yeah, they're adding prestige, and they always make their opponents look great. Gunther can dominate somebody, but them just fighting through, making spirited comebacks and getting the fans behind them elevates them even in the loss. He did that with Chad Gable. He did that with Sheamus. Man, he's tore it up. Bronson Reed, like just random Raw matches. He's made his opponents look like world beaters. Gunther as Intercontinental Champion, and Swerve is doing that as the AEW World Champion as well. Power Driver Finisher says it was good, but not bad, just odd placing. I don't think it was odd placing, because your most important things, Power Driver Finisher, is the opening of the show, the top of the second hour, and the end of the show. If it came as the second match on the show, like me personally, I thought the most odd placement was the Texas Bullrope matchup, because that was your show stealer, a bloody, violent matchup. It only got 10 minutes, and we had a commercial break in between. And the only reason that happened is because it's the second match on the show and not the first match on the show. I understand Darby Allin and Hologram, they're exciting, they're fun, but I felt like the blow off to this Thunder Rosa Deonna Purrazzo feud that started all the way back in April, it needed to be the opening of the show or top of the second hour or the main event instead of the second match on the show. That's the oddest placement to me on this episode of Collision. We got Alex Powell, who says the Raw World title scene should be getting more bagged on, because how they're going to keep the momentum on par with the Judgment Day Civil War and Punk versus Drew continuation. Well, they're doing that by getting a top star from SmackDown to face the world champion at the first show. So, hey, I'm not going to argue. I'm not going to complain about Randy Orton versus Gunther. And Gunther's the world champion. So that's all that matters to me. Victor says, I'm so happy for all the kids who got to stay home on a Saturday night in the summer to watch Swerve Strickland wrestle on free TV. Hey, if there's kids who's watching, or if there's adults who's watching on a Saturday night, I mean, me personally, I didn't stay up that long. I watched it on Sunday morning because I had to go to Rev Pro the next day, and I had to wake up early. But hey, I enjoyed it. That's what. Why are we caring about all the kids staying at home? Why are we not just, if you liked it, you liked it. If you didn't like it, you didn't like it. Who gives a fuck about everybody else? Everybody else's kids. We got Alex Powell who says, because I don't see Gunther main eventing after Germany, and who's going to be his opponent at Bad Blood? Good question. That's a good question. He says, I think we're getting Gunther versus Priest versus Finn in a triple threat match, which is good. It's gonna make Gunther the third wheel. Interesting point. We'll talk about that more for sure tomorrow on Rated Raw Review, Alex Powell. So join us for that. And I agree, Power Drive Finisher. Those kids want storytelling. Absolutely. They want cinema. We go backstage and we hear from Claudio Castagnoli after his victory last week in the Continental triple threat match, the Continental Collision matchup with Ishii and Lee Moriarty. He says that he wanted to win the Continental Championship before this year's Continental Classic. He earned a shot at Kazuchika Okada's last week on Collision and challenged him to that title match on August 21st on the first Dynamite in the UK in Cardiff, Wales. If Okada was confused by that, the two would meet face to face this Wednesday to make it all clear. And it was confirmed, yes, they will be going face to face on Dynamite this Wednesday, but that's a big match to put on that Dynamite week from this Wednesday, which is going to be in Cardiff, Wales, ahead of All In. That feels like a main event matchup. Kazuchika Okada versus Claudio Castagnoli. I'm here for it. I am here for it. We hear from Chris Statlander and Stokely Hathaway next. Lexi Nair introduced Chris and Stokely. Nair showed them what Willow Nightingale had to say on Collision the night prior, where Tomohiro Ishii let Willow know that he didn't like Stokely Hathaway either. Nair informed them that a tag team challenge has been made officially for the All In 0 Hour. But before Nair could announce the matchup, Hathaway interrupted. He says that it was pathetic that Nightingale needed a short, bald man to do her bidding for her. Hathaway said that he could find Statlander a partner from New York, just like they from New York. The toughest people are from New York. He said he could find someone from the Bronx, from Harlem, from Brooklyn. But Lexi Nail finally finished and let him know that the challenge was for Willow Nightingale and Tomohiro Ishii versus Chris Statlander and Stokely Hathaway. Hathaway tried to laugh it off, but much to his chagrin, Statlander accepted the challenge for them. The graphic was then shown on screen. It is now official. It will be Willow Nightingale teaming up with the conglomerations Tomohiro Ishii to face Stokely Hathaway and Chris Statlander Sunday, August 25th, the All In London 0 Hour. I wanted Willow and Nightingale to get on this car any way they can, so I'm fine with it being on 0 Hour. But there's going to be so much. I just need to see Tomohiro Ishii chop the shit out of Stokely, and Stokely just going all nuts, and him on offense when he said, "Indeed, it's Tupac. We need Stokely in his Nation of Domination gear in Wembley Stadium." As I Make Beats says, the Battle of the Balls. Big Stokes ain't nothing to play with, them cats. I saw this message before I saw this message. I already had it in mind. I was gonna play my man Big Stokes. Big Stokes. Big match on Dynamite before All In with Okada and Claudio, says MCAT. Frantic World says Claudio versus Okada in Cardiff. Let's go. Yes, I'm here. I'm here for all this. Frantic World says I'm ready to see the mixed tag match, and Chris Statlander looks very good. I mean, you ain't wrong. But man, Stokely Hathaway gets a match at All In Wembley Stadium. I don't think anybody could have predicted this like a year ago when Stokely was just running amok and having matches with Hook. We didn't think he would get a match at All In London, but here we are. I'm here for it. We go backstage, and Top Flight, Action Andretti, and Layla Hirsch were backstage with Lexi Nair. Nair said that MxM Collection had asked for this interview, but couldn't be found anywhere. Gray pointed out that they were kneeling beneath the camera, and they stood up like they were on an elevator. They apologized for what they said last week because they didn't mock their ugly haircuts. Top Flight challenged them to a match tonight, but Mansoor let them know that he had broken a nail and wasn't cosmetically cleared. Leo Rush entered the frame to relay a message from Tony Khan. He tried to show them, but MxM couldn't read it. And he says that when you see the boys, let them know it's them and MxM next week, Arlington, Texas, on Collision. So it's going down. MxM Collection versus Top Flight next Saturday, AEW Collision. But I think Tony Khan should take it more seriously when someone is not cosmetically cleared. I don't think he's taking that seriously enough. We all got to do a prayer circle. Let's all do a prayer circle for Mansoor to be cosmetically cleared next week, because this is serious. I think that Tony Khan is letting himself be up for some serious transgressions. There could be a lawsuit against him if he allows Mansoor to perform when he is not cosmetically cleared. Let's all do a prayer circle for Mansoor. Everybody in the chat, put your prayers up for Mansoor to be cosmetically cleared. Moment of silence. 10 bell salute. Thank you. Thank you. B says, thoughts and prayers for Mansoor. I'm getting emotional a little bit. MCAT says, MXM on a roll. Give them all the belts. Also, who joins them as a third? I predicted way back when. I'm gonna say Griff Garrison. He's got the hair for it. He's got the hair. He could make it work. He could be a part of MXM. Next up, we got former 3-time AEW Women's World Champion Hikaru Shida. She's in action going up against Alea James from the UK, getting a spotlight here. This was, though, a very quick matchup. I think James hit like 1, maybe 2 moves before Hikaru Shida got a guillotine, hit a big knee to the face, and then followed up with the Falcon Arrow for the victory here. But this was more about what would happen in the post-match. Backstage, Alexi Neer called up with Hikaru Shida, and Shida said the last time they talked, she called out Britt Baker before losing to her on Dynamite. Shida said that the record between them now is 2-2, and they would break that tie one day. But Shida says she wanted one more chance to find her way on the All In card, and she called out the TBS champion herself, Mercedes Moné. She called herself the ace of the AEW women's division. She says that Britt says she's the first. Well, Shida is the best. She ran down her credentials as a 3-time AEW Women's World Champion, the woman with the most wins in AEW history, before challenging Moné for the TBS title on Dynamite this Wednesday, and it was officially announced. This is one of the best promos I've heard from Shida. She came off clear, concise, the passion was there, her hope and her whole story about wanting to get to Wembley Stadium, it felt believable, and this feels like a rather big matchup to be on Dynamite this week. And honestly, I would say, it's been a while since we had a women's main event. I think this, if you're going to bring some heat and bring some momentum back to the Mercedes Moné and Britt Baker story heading into All In, give Mercedes her first main event on Dynamite against Hikaru Shida. I think that deserves to be the type of main event to headline the show. I feel like if it's not going to be that, it's probably going to be Swerve and Wheeler. You got the Young Bucks and Acclaimed. I mean, this is a stacked edition of Dynamite coming up with those 3 big matches, along with Hangman Adam Page versus Jay Lethal as well. So some big matches on tap for Dynamite. They heard my complaints of last week's show, which didn't have a lot of big matches on the show outside the opener and the main event. This feels like a Dynamite show where it feels like on the level of the lineups that we got in July. We also got MCAT who says, holy Shida ace. We also got Proud Driver Finisher says, great promo from Shida. And yes, the prayer service for Mansoor, cosmetically cleared. Please. Irek B says, stoked for Shida versus Moné. We also got Frantic World who says, Shida versus Mercedes on Dynamite. Thank you, Tony Khan. Just people complaining about this type of stuff. This is what AEW is known for. Giving us big matches on TV that you won't see anywhere else. I'm happy with it. I'm fine with it. You seem fine with it. That's all that matters in this community, right? Right. Hey, if you don't, let me know in the comments. Why not? We get our sit-down interview with Bryan Danielson, chatting with the one and the only Jim Ross. JR asked Danielson to assess his journey. With Danielson noted how Jim Ross signed him to a developmental contract 24 years ago. Danielson said that there were moments in his career that amazed him, and he was blessed to have had them. When asked about his physical condition, Danielson noted that he was most cognizant of his neck and his history of concussions. He says not many people know this, but he would likely have to have neck surgery before the end of the year. A lot of people with careers as long as he did didn't do the things that he did on the independent scene just to get noticed. And with this neck surgery, it's something that he's accepted as coming down the line. Jim Ross even notes that's pretty big news with you having a title match at the biggest show of the year. When asked about his upcoming title match with Strickland, Danielson noted that he's learned things about himself in the past 4 challenges for the AEW World title. He said that he's the best he's ever been mentally. 25 years into his career, Danielson said that his mental challenge would pull him through and be the difference at Wembley Stadium. Danielson had the classic battles with Hangman Adam Page, the hour-long matchup at Winter is Coming, the follow-up matchup on the first Dynamite on TBS. He was a part of the AEW World Title Tournament Finals at Grand Slam in 2022 against Jon Moxley, and then his 4th title opportunity at the AEW World Championship was one of the greatest pay-per-view matches in company history with MJF at Revolution last year in the 60-minute Iron Man match that went 65 minutes. So Bryan Danielson has been a part of some of the best AEW World title matches of all time, but they're doing a good job of making this one feel like the biggest and his best chance to become the world champion. So, I mean, you're going to need neck surgery, though. I don't know if this is a wise decision. Swerve ain't going to hesitate. Swerve not going to hesitate. We got MCAS says, so we getting Jarrett and Hangman at All In. Thanks, Tom Campbell. Tom Campbell's making it happen, making music videos. He's making it way. Shout out to Tom Campbell. We follow each other on the Twitter machine. Great guy, great follow, doing great work over at Cultaholic. And now he's the announcer for World of Sports. Go get him, Tom Campbell. Love to see good things for good people. Alex Bowles says, I could see Jarrett versus Hangman happening at All Out, because I can see them both being in the Casino Gauntlet match where Jarrett costs Hangman the match. Could also see that. We also got announced, I think this was on social media, not on the show, but it's going to be Kyle O'Reilly, Orange Cassidy, and Roderick Strong in a triple threat match on Dynamite this week. The winner will get the #1 spot in the Casino Gauntlet. So we're confirmed that all 3 of those men are going to be in the Casino Gauntlet. I suspect we're going to get some big names in the Casino Gauntlet. So maybe we get Jeff Jarrett, maybe we get Hangman Adam Page. Maybe that would be the stage to bring back a Jon Moxley. If Moxley is not going to be maybe against Okada for the Continental Championship, I could see Okada beating Claudio in Wales, and then Moxley returns to set up Moxley and Okada for All In on 3 days' notice. It's AEW, folks. They just throw out big matches all the time. MCAT says, JR doing great work with these sit-down interviews. Give us more of this. This seems like where we're going to need JR, because I don't think JR is going to be able to kind of do the play-by-play commentary that he usually does. So this would be the best use for him. I'm fine with that. Yes, I also do see. I see Michael Oku in the Casino Gauntlet. I can see Ricochet making his debut in AEW in the Casino Gauntlet. Maybe someone like Bobby Lashley in Wembley Stadium. Maybe a return for Wardlow. I don't see Ricky Starks, especially with the last report we got, Wrestling Observer newsletter reporting that everyone in the industry, not just in AEW, believe that Ricky Starks, once his contract expires with AEW, he's going to WWE. AEW usually goes, hey, if you want to go to WWE, we're not going to put you on TV until your contract is up. So seems like they're doing that with Ricky right now. And then finally, we had our main event of the show, #1 contender for the AEW World Trios Championships. It's the House of Black, Brody King, Buddy Matthews, and Malachi Black going against the Bang Bang Gang, Austin Gunn, Colton Gunn, and Juice Robinson, with 1/3 of the AEW World Trios Champions, Christian Cage, as our special guest referee. Christian Cage's turtleneck referee shirt, 10 times better than whatever Seth Rollins was wearing at SummerSlam. Argue with your mama. House of Black had a nice entrance, good ovation for them. Bang Bang Gang, another good ovation in Arlington, Texas for them. you would think that this is two babyface trios going up against each other because the Patriarch are the real heels in this situation, but I felt like the Bang Bang Gang decided to be the heels on this run right here. Matthews got in Cage's face early on after he took him out several weeks ago, but King told Matthews to focus on the matchup. We had Robinson working over Matthews after a commercial break, with Matthews fighting off all three of his opponents on their side of the ring to get the tag. Unfortunately, referee Christian didn't see the tag and forced King back onto his corner. Matthews fought to his corner again, and the crowd chanted that the ref sucked. Black got the tag. He started running wild. Malachi Black's been looking so good on these trios matches when he comes in for the hot tag. Christian says that he's calling it right down the middle. We get a big dive from Brody King on all three members of the Bang Bang Gang before we go to commercial break. During the commercial break, we also get Brody King laying out Juice and the Guns with a big crossbody into the barricade. We get Robinson getting a near fall on Brody King after a senton. The house got the advantage with Black hitting a double stomp, King hitting a big old lariat to Colton Gunn for a near fall. King shrugged off Austin Gunn's shots and laid him out with a big forearm. Colton on the outside. Austin and Juice hit the 310 to Yuma on big old Brody King. Only got a near fall for that one. The match broke down with a pure 6 brawl. Everyone came in hitting their big moves. Referee Christian started laying in the count, and he said he was calling this match right down the middle. He got to the count of 9. Buddy Matthews was the first man up on his feet. So Christian lays him out with the spear and then counts to 10, and he calls this matchup a double knockout draw. Killswitch and Nick Wayne then hit the ring with steel chairs. They start beating up both of the House of Black and Bang Bang Gang. Wayne hits Austin Gunn with the Wayne's World on the floor. Christian does a concerto to the knee of Buddy Matthews, the same knee that he injured in the matchup against Bang Bang Gang 2 months ago. Killswitch laid out Colton Gunn with a big old choke slam on an unfolded steel chair, and then Christian ended the attack with the Killswitch, the move, not the wrestler, on a steel chair on Malachi Black. The Patriarchy standing tall to close this edition of Collision, and we all know what this is leading to. We got our second 3-way matchup for All In. It's going to be the Patriarchy, it's going to be the Bang Bang Gang, and it's going to be the House of Black. I am looking forward to it. Throw a stipulation on that one because that should be a bunch of fun. We got I Make Beast who says the ending of this match was cinema. He says Christian Cage, greatest father and fairest referee. The AEW officials could learn a lot. Thanks, Dad. He's our dad. He's my dad. He's all of our dads. We got M Cats. It says my father Christian Cage says no one better yet. I hate him. I mean that describes a lot of sons' relationships with their fathers. To be fair. MCAT says Christian Cage greater than AEW Ref Brigade. I gotta agree with you. I Make Beats with another super chat donation. Thank you so much, I Make Beats. Appreciate the support. He says, here's to our father, referee Christian Cage. Sorry, I Make Beats. I should have gave you this earlier, but here's for this super chat.
Speak, bitch. Come on now. Oh my God, Siobhan. What the hell is wrong with you?
And here's for your super chat
I'm
earlier.
serious. I'm not going to sit back and take this fucking shit.
And for Genesis J, I know he sent this earlier in the show, but I didn't make it then. Made it now if you're watching back.
Listen up, you prick.
But yes, all of those dedicated to our father, Christian Cage. Christian Cage. Gotta say it like Nigel me. Christian Cage. Christian Cage. We got MCAT. Frantic World who says this was so fun to watch. Christian is the greatest. I agree. Power driver finisher. Christian Cage is just the best heel in the biz. One of the best, if not the best heel in professional wrestling today. He's just so unlikable, yet so awesome at what he does. Gotta love Christian. But that brings us to a close on another edition of AEW Collision. Thank you so much for the super chat donation. Thank you so much for the comments, interacting with me in the chat. Final call for super chat donations. But of course, as we always do here on all of our reviews of shows, pay-per-views, and more, give me your match of the night. your MVP, your LVP. Out of 10, what did you give this episode of AEW Collision? And whether you gave the show a thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs in the middle. For me, for the August 10th, 2004 edition of AEW Collision, this is a easy thumbs up. This is probably one of the best episodes that they've done in Arlington, Texas, where you had several big things going on, whether it be the show stealer with Thunder Rosa and Deonna Purrazzo, the bloody bullrope matchup, whether it be Swerve Strickland being on the show, adding a level of gravitas that we don't usually see on AEW Collision here with his open challenge and delivering a very good to great television matchup with Tomohiro Ishii, the main event angle with Christian Cage, a special guest referee with the Bang Bang Gang and House of Black to set up that big matchup for All In. You had a match being made for All In with Willow Nightingale and Tomohiro Ishii versus Stokely Hathaway and Chris Statlander. Got Hologram another week showing out, having a fun matchup, teaming up with Darby Allin here. So we had a mixture of big stars, whether it be Bryan Danielson doing the sit down interview, just so much going on this episode. So this is an easy 8 out of 10 for me, and one of the highest ratings I gave for Collision as of late, but they've been on a great run of shows in Arlington, Texas, and the crowd has been tremendous throughout the past month. So bravo to the crowd, bravo to the performers on this show. Easy 8 out of 10 for me. Match of the night, gotta be Thunder Rosa versus Deonna Purrazzo, their best match of their series of matches that we've seen. And we've seen 5 of them, but this was the best. This was probably pushed the no DQ matchup that I was very high on down to a second place, but the best match that they've had in their series, a bloody and memorable battle between those two ladies there. And honorable mention to Swerve Strickland and Tomohiro Ishii, who delivered themselves a very good matchup as well. That's why my MVP for the show is Swerve Strickland. Like I said, adding a level of gravitas we don't usually see, a level of star power that we don't usually see on AEW Collision here. And my LVP for the show, I'm going to have to go with, I was going to say the Outrunners, and I called them front runners, I think on my pictures. I call them front runners, but yeah, I'm going to say the Outrunners. Even though I like the Outrunners, but yeah, I don't think they needed to go that long with FTR. If FTR is going for an AEW World Tag Team title matchup, you don't need to go like 10 minutes with the Outrunners. Just saying. I'm just saying. Maybe it's the Outrunners. I would say that. But let's see what you guys had to say. MCAT says match of the night, Rosa versus Deonna. We got MCAT who gives it a thumbs up. Power Drive Finisher says 7.5 for him. MCAT says 8.5. We got Power Drive Finishers. Now, he said, no, what? 8 out of 10. I agree with you. Frantic World going 7.5 out of 10. We got I Make Beats who says match of the night was Swerve and Ishii. We got Christian for LVP. That is a good point. That is our dad. So I'll give it co-MVP. You convinced me. I Make Beats. Co-MVP Swerve and Christian Cage. He says LVP Smart Mark Sterling, and he gave the show an 8 out of 10. We got Power Drive Finisher getting the LVP to Shoni Shabani. Fair. MCAS says underrated match, FTR Outrunners as well as MXM top flight promo. Also, Layla Gray fits like a glove. Indeed, she does. And I May Beats finishing us off with a super chat donation. Thank you so much. Once again, I May Beats delivering the goods, delivering the love.
I'm hurt and I'm old and I'm fucking tired and I work with fucking children.
Indeed, we do. I May Be says one more for a good cause. Thumbs up all around. Indeed. And I've been saying it for weeks. I May Be. Can they never leave the esports arena? Can they stay in Arlington for longer, please? Pretty please with sugar on top. I don't want them to be in half empty 10,000 seat arenas. I like them in a 2,000 seater where everything's full and it's always a fun show. This has been a great run of shows. I'm sad that next week's show will be the last at esports arena. For now, we gotta power it. We gotta manifest them going back to the esports stadium. But you guys are always awesome. You guys are my favorite co-hosts here on the True Hill Heat YouTube channel. Don't Tell Chrissy Love, True Draw Josh, Top Guy JJ, Romeo, and Jimmy McAram, or Sober Guy JJ. But he should be here, so y'all can tell him himself. But I love you guys. You guys are awesome. Thank you for the super chat donation. Thank you for the comments, your thoughts, and takes on AEW Collision from August 10th, 2024. I will be back with Collision Discourse probably on Sunday, next Sunday for next Saturday's show. But I will be back here on the True Hill Heat YouTube channel tomorrow, 1:05 p.m. Eastern Time, with Rated Raw Review with Mr. Romeo Anthony Colon reviewing tonight's Monday Night Raw. So stay on the lookout for that. Hit the bell to stay notified for all the great content here. If you like AEW content, check out AE Ramble episode 158, Die Mariah Die, as me and Jimmy Rackaram broke down AEW Collision from last Wednesday. We'll be back on Thursday, 1:05 p.m. Eastern Time with a new edition of AE Ramble. And most of all, check out the True Hill Heat flagship podcast, True Hill Heat 289. The whole trio, the OG trio and the True Draw Josh were there. This was one of our funnest episodes. Like, I love when we have Top Guy JJ join us for his monthly visits. Love when True Draw Josh is there. And of course, the beautiful, the lovely, and the always honest Miss Chrissy Love saying her take. So check out the flagship from this past Saturday. One of our great episodes. We're on a run of great episodes on Saturday. So if you haven't already, join us Saturdays, 11:05 a.m. Eastern Time for the flagship. But check out the last one right now. But until then, until tomorrow, where I'm here, 1:05 p.m. Eastern Time, this has been Collision Discourse, number 39 for the August 10th, 2024 edition of AEW Collision. I am signing off until next time.
Thank you. Fuck you. Bye.